Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. This is going to be awesome. So today we are taking a look at an internet radio by a company we've never ever reviewed products for in the past, which means this is completely different from the ground up. You know, we've done others in the past, but this is not like any of those. So I'm excited to check it out to see how they approach the internet radio genre, I guess it is, of technology. And it's a very interesting product, and I think that you're going to enjoy it. So we're going to unbox it, review it. You're not going to want to miss this. So here is the ChoYong LC90 Internet radio, and I literally have no idea what to expect. All I can tell you is that the packaging looks incredible, but it's covered in this shrink wrap. So let's go ahead and remove that. Wow, that was easy. Okay, cool. First of all, packaging is getting really good lately. I mean, look at this, foil stamped, and obviously packaging, like I always say, is indicative of quality products. Usually, doesn't always mean that, but man, like we are seeing like this renaissance of packaging. I feel like the iPhone sort of set a standard for what, you know, you get an iPhone, it comes in a quality package, you get that experience from the moment you start unpacking it. Anyway, made in China, multi-band internet radio. Yeah, let's give it a shot. I guess we just lift up and there it is. Not even wrapped in plastic. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So here's instructions, troubleshooting, specifications, and then the device itself. I've been sort of a radio nerd for years and years and years. I had a shortwave set as a kid, a couple of them, and I really just loved listening to what I could pull off the air. It's always been fascinating to me, pulling something out of thin air. And now with internet radios, what you can get is obviously, you know, much more than you ever could over the air. And it's not quite as magical coming out of Wi-Fi versus like off the air, shortwave and stuff. But anyway, so here is the device. Before we look at that too closely, I want to see what else we got here. There's a little sticker. It's like a serial number. It looks like, the impression that I get, there's a wrist strap. The impression I get is that this is like a, I don't know if this is like a test unit or I'm trying to say, basically a unit that isn't full production mode. This is like that's cool. USB-C with inset orange. I like that. Or what? Because, you know, I'd expect this to be, you know, in shrink wrap. It does have like a lens protector on there, but the fact that it's not in any sort of, you know, shrink is kind of odd. But yeah, the packaging is still cool. The device itself has a decent amount of heft to it. I imagine once it gets loaded, well, batteries I was going to say, but maybe the batteries are all rechargeable. Shut down first before opening the cover. So I'm assuming that may be a battery compartment. And if it has a rechargeable battery that is removable, then that's great. I mean, that's what everybody always says, right? Multi-band smart radio. On the bottom here, we've got these rubber strips with an interesting grip pattern there. Look at this. SIM card. A SIM card? Really? And a TF card, which is SD. A SIM card. That's really interesting. Type-C USB on the side there. External antenna. Headphone jack. Plastic knobs, but they feel good. They've got good drag to them. Nothing on this side. Nothing on top. We have the antenna. Telescoping antenna goes about 3.5 feet. And what are these knobs? I'm not sure. Oh, it's on the side here. Okay, so we got a tuning. And it's stepped. There's like little steps. Fine tuning also with steps, and then volume, which is smooth. We have the speaker grill. Feels like possibly a metal speaker grill. And then the buttons across the unit. So It says FM, AM, shortwave, smart radio. What does smart mean? Does that mean the internet portion? Look at this. It's got a podcast button, a news button, a music button, music tag. I'm going to have to spend some time with this, learn it. Otherwise, it would be an arduous video, me trying to figure this thing out in real time. So let me do that. I'll spend some time with it, figure it out, hopefully, and I'll let you know how it works. Alrighty then. So it's been a couple of days that I've had this unit, and I've sat down and spent considerable amounts of time with it, attempting to learn it, experiencing it, so that I can advise you on whether or not it's good and just kind of talk through its features. First of all, overall, it is a good radio. It is a quality product. It is built well. It's not gimmicky. And I'm going to demo it here in a minute. But overall, I want to let you know it is good. It is a good unit. I do have a couple of questions that I have not been able to answer yet, and I'm going to explain those to you. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Let's go ahead and start by taking off this film protector. I saved this moment for you guys. I could have done that over the last couple of days, but I'm saving that moment. And then we are going to power it up by pressing and holding the power button. Again, I want to keep this more about, my thoughts and, opinions, more so than, a tutorial on here's how you do this and here's how you do that. But I did get the internet programmed in, or the password to the access point and all that. It's always kind of tricky on these. Use the tuning dial to kind of navigate menus, and these buttons, or these knobs, function not only as knobs, they rotate, but then you can also click down to select. So that works pretty good. I still do not understand the true purpose of the SIM card. It does take a nano SIM card and a TF or SD card, which I'm going to put in now so we can demonstrate that in a minute. Yeah, I'm not sure why you would want that. I'm not sure. I can't exactly figure it out. And, I've read the manual and still can't quite figure it out. The volume knob also has a click position down here. It acts as a hold. So if you it looks like it's turning it off, but it's really just putting it in a hold mode or pause mode. To power it off, you have to press and hold up here. And it's going to load the last thing I have up here, which I think is CNN World Service. So I've got the dual mic on, so the front mic and the back mic. If it's a little echoey, that's why, but we can give it a listen. In terms of the sound quality, it is good. On certain stations, it sounds very dynamic and boomy and bassy, and you can feel it kind of resonate in your hands. And then on others, it sounds a little thinner, and I think it's just dependent upon the content provider. What they're putting out there. In terms of drivers, I think there's two. It looks like there's one, maybe a 1.5-inch, 2-inch speaker here, and another one up here. Again, it seems, completely adequate.
The election. Police said in a statement the targets of this investigation spread claims of electoral fraud even before the election.
Screen has a timeout right now set to, I think, 20 seconds. And let's see. If I click up there, yeah, it comes back to life. One thing I do like is it has these pre-programmed areas down here. So music, podcast, and news. So if I click on the music note, it'll take me to stations that are tagged as being music stations. Then I can use this knob to select. So if we wanted to listen to Russian dance, I can select that. It takes a second to load. Or 2 seconds. There we go. And there we go. Click on that again. It'll take us back to that same menu. I can pick something different this time. Kiss FM 106.5. Tell me all the ways you need me. I'm not here for. Well, there's thousands, tens of thousands of internet radio stations. Are there tens of thousands of stations in here? It gives you a list, and it just kind of keeps on going. Obviously, it'd take you years to go through a list of 10,000, whether or not it's grouped by music, podcast, or by news. And the question naturally then is, well, how can I search? How can I search for content? Because usually internet radios have an ability for you to enter and search on a keyword or a station call name or even the music type or whatnot. And I don't see that capability here, which is what's weird. So you can manually, or you can go to these presets. You can go to the menu down here and you can browse. So it does have browsing capabilities. So let's say, okay, we want to look at North American stations. And then from North America, let's say I want to look at Mexico. And then once I'm in Mexico, again, it just pops me into a list. But even Mexico, probably has, 10,000 internet radio stations. So finding a specific one
Una vela, el más veloz se lleva.
That could be a little tricky. So that's a frustration that I definitely noticed. It's fun to browse. It's fun to browse for sure. Different language support. You can tag stations. If we go up to FM here, I did scan. It does have a pretty decent sized aerial. So you can manually tune, or you can go to presets.
It is really annoying, so I can use some good music.
And medium wave, same thing, AM. That is if you can pick up AM in your area. Shortwave. Actually picked up something. You can see the signal strength up there, which I think is cool. You can change the increments that you step through. Okay, it prompted me to restart the unit to initialize the TF card. So that's kind of interesting, but anyway, I did it. Okay, so we have the TF card in there now. Pressing the TF button. So it does bring up the menu system, or whatever the menu structure is, folder structure is, on the SD card, and then using the tuning knob I can go through here. So if I want to go to old time radio, 6-shooter episodes, and then we get the 6-shooter.
As the 6-shooter.
And then I assume I can skip through episodes.
In just a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the 6-shooter. There's music for you tomorrow with two of your favorite song stylists, Dinah Shore and Frank Sinatra. James Stewart as the 6-shooter.
So another thing that is kind of interesting is if you want to add an IP address for an internet radio station, it's kind of interesting how this works. So what you need to do is, let's get back into the menu here. If you click on this edit button, let's see, where is it? Right down here. It won't do anything because you have to be in internet radio mode. So go back over to internet radio, add radio, add radio. Come on, there we go. Select that and it gives you a QR code. And then you scan that QR code with your phone and it actually brings up an interface where you can use your phone to easily enter an IP address, which is obviously simpler than doing it with the keys there. So that's definitely a good feature. So at the end of the day, I think it's a cool radio. I do like it a lot. I'm still learning as I go through it, learning new features and capabilities, and I'm pleasantly surprised. The quality, again, the build quality, the operating system quality, the feature set is great. I think my biggest question mark, and I'm not going to say it's an issue or even a red flag because it could be completely my misunderstanding, I just haven't discovered how to do it yet, is a way to search for internet radio keywords, to be able to search for an artist, etc., etc. Other internet radios we reviewed in the past have that ability, which makes browsing very, very simple. Without that capability in place, I'm going to say that that's my only question mark. But overall, I think it's a fantastic product. It's a lot of fun, and I think you would be well served if you decide to get into the world of internet radio, which I would highly recommend. All right, my friends, and that is going to do it for today. Thank you so very much for being there, for watching, for supporting, for all of your love. You guys are awesome. I want to let you know that if you're interested in this radio, I do think it's cool, and I do give it 2 thumbs up. So I'll put a link in the description below. But mostly, I want to hear from you about internet radio. Have you looked into it? Do you have internet radio? What are some of the things that you like about it or don't like about it? I want to hear from you in the comments. But my friends, that's going to do it for today. So happy record hunting, and we'll see you next time.